For these crew members on board the station in late January, the next Russian Progress resupply vehicle will be launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, followed in early February by the first commercial cargo vehicle, the Dragon spacecraft, to be launched by SpaceX, the Space Exploration Technology Corporation, scheduled for launch February 7th, with a grapple and berthing to the Harmony node of the International Space Station on February 10th. That will be followed in close concert by the launch of the Eduardo Amaldi automated transfer vehicle by the European Space Agency from Kourou, French Guiana in early March, and the departure of Burbank, Shkoplerov, and Ivanishин in mid-March, and then finally the launch of the next trio of crew members, the Expedition 31 crew. That will be Gennady Padalka, Sergei Revin, and Joe Akaba in the SOYUS TMA-04M spacecraft on March 30th. They will arrive at the station on April 1st. This view of the SOYUS vehicle from external cameras on the International Space Station as it flies 249 statute miles above the Earth in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator, moving from southwest to northeast, skirting up the northeastern coast of Brazil, soon to cross the equator. The Russian ground station acquisition of the SOYUS vehicle is expected a short time from now, with the docking expected to take place over Central Asia. Once again, as you can see in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, the KM, that's kilometers, that's the distance of the SOYUS away from the International Space Station, just over 1 kilometer away, as we prepare for the start of the fly-around of the SOYUS, this again done in automated mode, with Oleg Kononenko, the SOYUS commander, at the ready to take over the manual flying of the SOYUS should that become necessary.
Есть включение депо на торможение. Скорость была 4.5.
In the International Space Station Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, the visiting vehicle officer, Heidi Poppelreiter, has reported back to Flight Director Mike Lammers that Impulse 5 has begun. That, again, a small thruster firing. You see Lammers on the right side of your screen. He's joined on console to his right by spacecraft communicator Jack Fisher, and to his right, Shannon Walker, the veteran space station and SOYUS systems expert, who is on hand to provide her expertise if required during the final phase of tonight's approach and docking of the SOYUS for its link-up to the Rosviet module. Impulse 5 will be followed by yet another thruster firing just a minute or so from now. That, again, to fine-tune the SOYUS's approach on the proper path to begin its fly-around of the International Space Station for a precise alignment of its forward docking probe to the Rosviet module on the Earth-facing side of the Zarya module, to which it is attached. The Zarya module, the first element of the International Space Station, launched on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan back on November 20th, 1998.
At 600 meters, there will be another depot over. I am going to minimize the picture. Yes, you can minimize the picture while you're working in agency mode, and then you can expand it. Okay.
Выдача команды пересветка с интервалом не менее 5 секунд.
When you're sending AGC agency mode commands, make sure the time interval is no less than 5.
Раскрываю.
What you're seeing here is exactly what is being seen in the overlaid control panel, basically what Oleg Kononenko is seeing and what Anton Shkoplerov and Anatoly Ivanishin are seeing in the Zvezda service module, a series of displays that provide all of the data that they need to feel comfortable about the precision of the approach of the Soyuz for its docking. Everything continues to go very smoothly with the Soyuz as it begins to close in on the point of its fly-around. And Impulse 6 now has been completed. That's about a 1.5 meter per second thruster firing that will precede the beginning of the fly-around of the Soyuz to align itself with the Rosviet module. The Soyuz has passed the equator, moving from southwest to northeast, approaching the western coast of Africa.
Do you see station well in the sky? Yes, very bright. Very bright, looks great.
Что?
Didn't copy?
Еще раз, Саша.
Could you repeat it again?
Да, Россию я снял.
Audible. Copy. We're approaching a station to the selected docking port.
С этой стороны похоже.
From this side.
Ну да, пока на этом.
Дальность 560.
Range is 560. No, I'm talking about that is from the
Дальность 550.
550. Range rate is 1.75 approaching.
Once again, this view from external cameras on the Soyuz TMA-03M on the lower left-hand quadrant of this cross-aired engineering view. You can see that the Soyuz is just over 500 meters away from the International Space Station, closing at a rate of about 1.5 meters per second. At the time of docking, contact, and capture between the two vehicles, the rate will have closed to 1/10 of a meter per second. After the docking is confirmed, there will be a period of a few seconds to allow the relative motion of the two vehicles to dampen out against each other, enabling the initial retraction of the docking probe to basically pull the Soyuz vehicle in tight for a hard mate with the Rosviet module, enabling hooks and latches to begin the process of latching up with one another. And then the leak checks will begin, about 2 orbits worth of leak checks by the Russian crew members on both sides of the Soyuz Rosviet docking interface to ensure that we have a tight seal before the hatches will swing open at around noon Central Time today.
Можно будет еще, когда облет сформируется, еще раз пересветку переключить.
When you start the fly round, you can switch AGC mode again. Okay, AGC mode, all right, will do. Audible.
Можешь Андрей попросить, просто вылететь.
Есть, да.
We have fly round.
Хорошо.
Okay, Andre.
ВДР-5.
Send R51. R51. Great.
And as you can hear through the translation from the crew members on board the Soyuz, the fly-around of the International Space Station has begun. This is expected to be about a 6-minute procedure to align the Soyuz with the Rosviet module. It will also conduct a roll maneuver that will align its solar arrays in a non-interference mode with the docking port on the Earth-facing side of the Zarya module. Once the fly-around is complete, a period of station keeping will begin. This is a variable amount of time. It just depends on how comfortable Oleg Kononenko is with the alignment of the Soyuz with the Rosviet docking port, as well as with Russian flight controllers' comfort factor here at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow.
К-15 выдавать?
We send K-15. 15, K15. I'm clicking Moscow.
Здесь не выдача, здесь оно само должно загореться.
No, it's not something you send.
And once again, this view from space station-based cameras looking at the Soyuz vehicle. Again, in the descent module strapped into the center section of the Soyuz, which is a three-section spacecraft. In their Sokol launch and entry suits, in the left seat, European Space Agency astronaut Andrei Kuipers, who is the board engineer working alongside Oleg Kononenko, the Soyuz commander, who's in the center seat. NASA's Don Pettit, the flight engineer, in the right seat of the Soyuz's descent module. Soyuz and the International Space Station passing over Mauritania, soon to pass over the Western Sahara, as it continues its track from southwest to northeast, heading toward the Mediterranean, and it's docking to the International Space Station about 18 minutes from now.
Shining right in our eyes. Currently, it's floating out of our field of view. Copy. Range is 057 is range rate. We're currently rotating in yaw.
A pretty portrait of northwest Africa as the Soyuz orbits at an altitude of 249 statute miles, beginning its roll program to orient its solar arrays in the proper attitude for the station keeping, and then its final approach for docking to the Rosviet module. The fly around continuing at this hour as Kononenko monitors the automated approach of the Soyuz for its link up to the Rosviet module that is scheduled about 16 minutes from now. Here at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov, a large delegation of European VIPs are on hand, Dutch representatives, and NASA's delegation tonight led by Bill Gerstenmaier, the Associate Administrator for Human Exploration Operations out of NASA headquarters, and Mike Suffredini, the International Space Station Program Manager. A large crowd on hand 2 days before Christmas to usher in the resumption of six-man crew operations on board the International Space Station.
We have Zavcon, ISS, Antares. Go ahead. Anton, we have Zavcon on the vehicle. Range is about 110 meters.
The visiting vehicle officer in Mission Control in Houston reports to Flight Director Mike Lammers that station keeping has begun, just about on the timeline, within a few seconds of that. Again, this is a variable amount of time to enable both Kononenko aboard the Soyuz and Russian flight controllers here to assess the alignment of the Soyuz's forward docking probe with the Rosviet module docking port. The Soyuz operated under the call sign Antares. That's the name selected by Kononenko for his spacecraft during the launch to docking phase, as it will be called during the undocking to landing phase for these three crew members next May.
Есть
We
капитан.
have cases seen.
Принято, К-15.
Copy, cases seen.
Есть причал.
We have approach.